Sharon. Welcome to Linea Rock.
Thank you very much for having me.
I should say welcome back, since this is the third time that you're with us, and it's always a pleasure. We just heard Don't Pray For Me, which is the fourth new single, independent release that will lead up to Within Temptation's next studio album, which is in the making. The song is about accepting, your own destiny, coming, in a period when we all had to face something like that. Is it for you like a final, definitive reflection on what happened, or some way like the starting of a new way to look at your life that you want to express in this song?
No, it's more about what's happening in the world at the moment. There's a lot of politics trying to get people to live in a certain way from religion's point of view. I know this is a sensitive subject, but I don't think it will help people in the end when they do that. I think people need to have the opportunity themselves to live their lives how they want to live it, and not always other people telling them how to live their life and how to believe their religion, or if they want to at all. It's a bit about, have a problem growing up nowadays, and it's very difficult for them to find their way. And if you give them a bit more space, freedom to find their way, they'll be happier people in the end, hopefully.
Do you think it's positive or negative, the message, in the spirit?
It's from, I don't tell people what to believe, but people always tell me what to believe. It's like I just give each other the space to be their own person. And it's a bit of, I don't try to be negative. I think religion can be very beautiful, but it depends, from what perspective you see religion, I think. Sure. It's like
making singles instead of a whole album seems a new trend now, maybe out of necessity. Do you think this approach will last from now on for a long time, at least for you guys?
Well, we already decided before we had the pandemic to do it this way. A lot of music scenes already do this, music genres actually, and but in the rock we still do a lot of the traditional way of releasing albums, and we just wanted to try this out. And then the pandemic happened, and everybody started doing the same thing, which is interesting because you live in a moment and you write something and you release it, and closer to the fire of a band you can't be. So this is really how we feel at the moment, and that's what we are reflecting with our music, I think. It's a good thing.
And you are definitely, an excellence in making great music. And this song that we just heard, Don't Pray For Me, is a stellar example of it. But is this new approach, of collecting singles, let's say, less creative or more creative from your point of view?
I don't think it's either, to be honest, because we put a lot of time extra now into every single, where normally this is the maximum of singles that we release, and we're going to release more. So I think there's more time spent to it, but it's scattered all over time. So it's really sometimes difficult to get back into the flow of writing again. So that's the negative side of it. So it has its plus and negative side on each side, and then with the whole album, it takes sometimes 2 years when you've written a song that it finally gets released, and it already feels outdated sometimes. So now it's really very fast released.
Yeah, but sometimes, when you make album, is it difficult maybe to work like that in a way, to give a sort of continuity to the process? For example, a concept album, which you've done before, had to be worked in a moment, all together? Or do you think it's possible to work on something like this as you're doing now?
It could be, if you know what the storyline is. I think it's possible to scatter it out and do that in the moment as well. But it's more difficult. I totally agree with you. But it is possible, I think.
Yeah, but sometimes maybe albums need to be conceived and shaped in a particular moment. But I'm actually surprised because you guys are actually always composing such great music, if it's an album or singles, everything is always superb. And how close is the full album? Do you have a much clearer idea now of the release date?
Well, to be honest, I'm in America now, North Carolina, as we speak. And in a few days, I'll be back in my home country, in the Netherlands. We have 1 week to record a new song. And then I leave again for a European tour, as you already know, of course. And then I'm back in the beginning of December. And then we're going to finish the rest of the album. So we haven't written the rest yet. So it's going to take some time to do that. But I hope to do, somewhere next year there will be a new album. But there will be a few singles also still first before we do the album. So.
Okay. So as you mentioned, the Italian show is coming. It was postponed 2 times due to the pandemic, but finally here we are. And on the 10th of November, you'll be playing Milan at the Forum with Evanescence, second show of the new European tour. So maybe we will have some surprises, since maybe videos will not come up so quickly on YouTube this time. But did you change the set or add some elements to the production, compared to the original concept of 2 years ago that we were supposed to see?
Yes, we have been developing and writing new songs, of course. So a lot of things still have changed. And it's in a way, we took the time now because we did have so much time. So for a good reason. So so it's going to be more towards what we have planned, actually. It's going to be bigger and better, of course. So.
Of course, every time. And is it always an healthy competition, sharing the stage with another front woman, like in this case with Emily? Do you keep an eye and ear on other female singers in metal or in the whole music business?
It's. I think what I notice is that we girls actually look for each other and support each other in a very positive way, because there are not that many compared to men. And it's the we just want to back each other back in a positive way. Like, okay, we're all on the road and we all do our own thing. We all have the same struggles, and we're just trying to make the most and the best and the most beautiful thing in our own way. So it's the only way we can do it is be positive about each other and stimulate the positive things.
As you mentioned, you are in Greensboro now at the moment, and these days you are finishing up the American tour with IRON Maiden. What was like this experience, of confronting with such giants of metal on stage? And did you have the chance to share some good singing tips? I mean, give and take with Mr. Bruce Dickinson, maybe backstage, some tricks to warm up in a different way or something like that?
No, I can hear him sing though every night. When I'm done, I'm like, oh, and that's his warming voice, which is really cool. Who can say that they have heard that? So no, we do have some contact more or less in backstage sometimes, not especially with Bruce, but with everyone who's just passing by, and we have a small talk in between of things, and that's fun. And that's what we were hoping for, to see a glimpse of them. And we see the show every night. We enjoy it very much. Steve Harris is every night on our stage watching our show behind, our eyes. It's like pretty fun because he's seen the show so many times, and apparently he really enjoys it. So that's the biggest compliment we can get. And there are more. I think Nico is also been there a couple of times to watch the show, and it's the bigger compliment like that you can't get. So it's been really fun, and everyone has been really nice to us. Also the crew. It's been a real fun trip for us. So and one that I will never forget. So that's
Fantastic. And how do you keep your marvelous voice in shape on the road? And isn't it a mess to share, the tour bus with so many male rockers?
Yeah, it is a challenge. I'm longing for my girlfriend sometimes. Like, oh my God, I need a different conversation. But it is fun as well, and they're sweethearts, and they take care of me very well. But but the vocal thing for me, it's mostly taking my rests and eating healthy food, smoothies and stuff like that. Especially we have a tour manager who's actually also a vocal coach, which I didn't know up front, but it's an extra.
Oh, wow.
I take him everywhere because he trains with me every night and he helps me to warm up my voice, like just before the show. And I do my ginger tea and those kind of things. I've got a special spray that helps my vocal cords when I'm a bit edgy on the sound. And that's it, actually. Yeah, just doing my warm-ups and staying healthy is the most important thing.
Fantastic. And let's talk about aesthetics. You are an elegant rebel, let's say, about your stage outfits, which are always so well finished, elegant, stylish, and perfect in the contest. Do you have someone who helps you, or do you do everything by yourself? And how much does, wearing proper outfits push you to get in the right move and to do what you do and, step into the character of the front woman of Within Temptation?
Well, it's I've done a lot of things on my own, styling wise and also design wise, but I also have had help the last few years from Jan Boelo, which is a Dutch designer, and he became a real personal friend of mine. So he always me also with the boys, and I have someone to talk about this styling that I used to do by myself mostly, and now I do it with him. I did work with other designers as well, also amazing designers. So sometimes I do it myself, and sometimes I get a lot of help from designers that I know by accident or just So it's a combination of those kind of things, and it does help me to get into the mood of the stage performance. I must say that I am who I am on stage is also who I am backstage. I don't pretend. It's of course a bigger version of yourself, a more extreme version, but it is completely me, to my opinion. I don't pretend to be someone else, but some people might think, but because I'm a very laid back person most of the time, but I do have an opinion very much as well. So it's just the right questions to and I will open up. So it's but it does help me to get in that mood.
And do you get inspired by the music, to create those dresses and outfits, or also other kind of inspiration?
Well, but maybe some people don't know. I've been wearing these huge dresses from the beginning since the band started, actually. And it was also because I always wanted to be a fashion designer. I never became one, though. I did work in the fashion industry later on when I was older. And that's why I started wearing this kind of clothes. But because I liked to design dresses myself, and then eventually also the music and films I was watching, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, for instance, was a huge inspiration. The one with Winona Ryder at the time. She had these beautiful dresses on. It's like, wow, I want to wear something like that, and just search for it or made it myself. So that's
wow. Yeah.
And also it always fit the music because we have had always very epic topics, and also the sound was a bit epic. So and then it does fit, I think. Yeah.
Sure. Is touring very different in the post-pandemic? I mean, practically and spiritually. What do you think?
Well, those first few shows that we were back on stage again, it was really like everybody in the band crew, but also the audience, everybody was so happy, and so relieved to be back again, almost a bit out of place, felt like this strange, I can touch you, I can be so close to you like this, Beginning, but I must say now it's back to normal. Everything's back to normal again. It feels nobody's paying attention that much anymore.
Okay, great. Okay, that's a good sign, and hopefully it will last. And are you working on some lyrics these days? I mean, on the road, do you usually work on songs, or you prefer to stay at home, calm and relaxed, to work on your stuff?
Normally I do, but the song that I'm going to record next week, I have one day to record it, and I had finished the lyrics like a year ago. But now looking back on those lyrics, like, so I'm writing it as we speak. I don't think it's I am trying to find a better way to express myself with those lyrics. So hopefully I'll be done by next week, Wednesday or something.
Okay. I know you like a lot cats, and you have a new cat in the house. I'm sure that when you're on the road, it's difficult to bring, pets along. So, or do you actually do it? I mean...
I would have loved to bring Murphy on tour because he's sweet and small, but I think at home the family needs it as well to cuddle with something and someone. And so Murphy stayed at home, but we're going to get a dog as well very soon. So we're going to get a puppy.
Yeah.
And he can be on the bus someday. When I'm going to a festival for a few days and everybody's okay with it, then I'll bring him on.
Okay, last question for tonight. Is there anything you would change about your career in hindsight, or everything, that helped to bring you here today? What you've done is okay and you would never change, a thing?
No, there are a few things how I look at that. Actually, I think the way we grew up in music, musical career, we were never there with one single that was humongous, big all over the world, but we gradually, with every single, we grew bigger and became more known with people. I think there was a very natural, and when we started, we were just kids, late teens, and now the way we grew into the music career, I think, was very in a natural way, and with every step we became bigger and more known with people. I think that was the best way for us. I don't know if we would be here nowadays if we would have had one single or an album that was humongous, a worldwide hit or something. I don't know if we could have made it as people to deal with that. So I think, becoming bigger with every album and growing in a natural way was very important for us. And that's, I think, the main reason we're still here nowadays. I think that's a more natural way to grow into music and deal with media and fans and those kind of things.
And do you think that your beauty has always been a plus, or it's been difficult sometimes, to get noticed, not just for that?
Well, I always had my boyfriend with me when I started the music. So, I never had really negative things happening towards me. But I do remember the first tour we did in America. It was called The Hottest Chicks in Metal. And I didn't know that the title until I was coming over to America, and I was like, oh my God, this must be some guy behind the desk thinking of this title. It can't be. It must be a corporate guy. It can't be anyone from music. No one would ever come up with that, It's like, you don't make a hottest man of metal. I don't know, Yes. So, but anyway, that was already like, it was actually when we were touring, I think, with Lacuna Coil, actually, through America. And so that's been a while, and I think that's almost like more than 10 years ago, maybe 12, 13 years ago, something like that. So, and times have changed now. I don't think they would ever come up with that kind of name without being harassed for it themselves.
Okay, so thanks, Sharon, for your time for this interview, and looking forward to see the new show in about 10 days, 12 days. So we're about it. Enjoy Maiden tonight, and enjoy, of course, your show. And now we're finishing this interview with the Purge video. So do you want to introduce it for us?
Of course. Well, everyone enjoyed the video, The Purge. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Thanks. And see you in Milan very soon.
Ciao, Sharon. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.